Hello, today is April 18th and the year is 2020, and this video is an offering of some suggested habits that might be helpful for some out there that would then become practices that you could carry into the new world when we step out of this forced pause that can be a reset if we allow it to be. So what's interesting, coincidentally, is that research tells us that it takes roughly 30 days to develop new habits that become practices. Ironically, most of us around the world are being locked down, shut down, shelter in place for at least 30 days. So we're being given the opportunity to develop these very deliberate new habits and practices. So let me start by offering a list of 6 or 7 practices and habits that some of the most centered, research tells us that some of the most centered and productive people engage in. So, number 1, prepare the night before for whatever your day will be the next day. And that's particularly relevant right now when you consider that many of us may feel a bit disoriented around the fact that many days are starting to feel for some like they just roll into one another. And there are some positives about that experience that I'll get to down the road. But for this purpose, that sense of reflecting on what do I have the next day also allows us to orient ourselves in a very disorienting set of circumstances. There's also the benefit of being able to decide what we want the next day to look like, and then putting in place as much as we can the night before so we're not creating extra stress thinking about what do I got to do today, how am I going to start my day, etc., which causes stress. And in this time of heightened anxiety, it may alleviate a bit. A second practice is going to bed and waking up at the same time. What that does is that gets our circadian rhythm in sync so that our body knows produce the sleep-inducing chemicals when it's time to sleep, and it knows to generate the waking, energy-boosting chemicals when it's time to be awake. A third practice to do in the morning is some form of meditation and or reflection. And in our reflections, we have a golden opportunity to reflect on who we were, who we are, and who we want to be going forward. And in this phase of this forced pause that's giving us an opportunity to reset, we can actually reflect on who we were and how we behaved before this pause, and consider that's part of the old world, and those things that haven't worked for us, we can decide I am going to let that go. I am not bringing that with me in the next phase of this world. I want to step out of that. And of course, those things that have worked for us, bring those with us. And in this pause, we can also reflect on the things that have benefited ourselves, those around us, and of course, the natural world, and really reflect on what do we want to continue to maintain in some fashion that helps us keep the benefits that have arisen out of this period. Fourth practice is have contact with somebody who matters to you in some meaningful way every single day. Now, obviously, that gives us that connection, that relational piece, because we are social creatures. A fifth practice to develop during this time is exercise. Exercise early if you can, so that you reinforce to your mind and your body and your spirit that your health is crucial. And then finally, if you can, get some sunlight every day, which also reinforces triggering in your body the sense of I need to be energized right now, I need to be awake, and that the vitamin D and the sunlight produces elevated moods and allows us to feel better about life. So hopefully these practices feel doable and useful. Sincerely, fellow world citizen, thank you.